I will die in the background as I start recording.
Hello everybody and welcome to the final episode of Neko Kuro. Thank you for the amazing introduction, Kiwi. Now, let's continue with that introduction with Kiwi, our host for today's introduction.
Okay, I know. Yes, your captain. Give me a sec. Hello everyone, welcome to the Legit Weebs. We're Zero, Cerby, and Kiwi, and we are reacting to episode 4 of
Alright, yeah, you're
Nekomonogatari
fired.
Kuro.
Okay, Cerby, you're up. Continue the introduction.
You have broken her. You broke Cerby, Zero. How dare you?
Cerby? Empty head, empty thoughts, empty brain.
Oh God. I don't know what we say in the intro.
Oh my god, how many videos have we recorded and you don't know what I say in the intros? Oh god, oh jeez, oh man. Oh.
You poor guy. Who the hell are you working with?
I made very poor decisions in my entire life. But this has gotta be one of the worst I've made.
What? You regret spending your time with us?
Hopefully our subscribers don't regret spending their time with us.
Why would you do that? Like, we are the most awesome, funniest, greatest, angelic, cutest, best channel, best reaction channel, best Vtubers on the whole
I probably should have saved that clip. When you said angelic, I probably should have just flashed back to that moment where you said that you can't date episode because you're an unholy woman.
I mean, I am a wolf girl. I am on the ground. It's just that our personalities are angelic.
You're on the ground.
Right, so with that perfect intro out of the way, let's get to the anime. Of course, you already know. Open up your own copy, seek it out with the timer that will appear within Kiwi's hands at the end of my countdown, and let's enjoy.
Let's
not do that unless if you want to. It's a free country. Right. I'm going to start the anime in 3, 2, 1. Look at that stare.
Oh wait, do I have your stream muted? I don't.
That would be great.
Oh, he's being stepped on by a lolly.
Yes.
I wonder how many people would give. How many people would give?
Stepped on by Shinobu.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really into lolly Shinobu, but adult Shinobu though. Now that's a hard bargain.
Would you rather be crushed by adult Shinobu, Noi, or Natsume?
Wait, which Natsume are we talking about? Why am I thinking about the boy Natsume?
The one that wants to crush
you.
Oh, Natsume from Penguin Drum. Okay. I was thinking about the other Araragi in the alternate universe, Natsume.
I mean, I would let him step on me, but I don't think he'd hurt me.
Step on me as well. I don't think he would actually be able to. I don't think he would actually want to step on us. He would look at us with such disgust.
No.
All right.
He's too kind.
You know, out of those three,
yeah,
those 3 girls, I would still have to say adult Shinobu. I'm sorry, she's just too good.
I kind of figured that would be the answer.
I mean, yeah, you know me well enough. Of course, I love all 3 of them, but I still have to have a number 1.
Oh, Shinobu,
would you rather be stepped on by adult Shinobu or Kaiki?
Kaiki. I don't even have to think about that answer.
Sword.
Would you rather be stepped on?
That's almost step for a flank sword.
Would you rather be stepped on?
Oh, Kiwi gave up.
Yeah, I just gave up. What's the point?
There's no point in continuing on anymore.
Oh no.
I'll give up.
Look at that sword.
Oh, that's a long sword.
Came out of a small girl.
Chicken dips.
Flashback to, I want to be Seiso.
I stopped myself. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, this is quite important.
The subtitles say it's
Yeah.
cringe.
Yeah, Oshino
Yep.
watched some TikTok compilations on YouTube before coming here. I mean, of course.
This is true.
I
My daughter Aggie go all JoJo there for a second. No. No. Koyomi, no.
Hmm. I believe, if I remember correctly, Kate in the scene was very, very mad at Oshino. But yeah, we'll discuss about this
and it's a
later on. And
sim. I have a lot of beans.
Mm.
what?
I have a lot of beans too.
I have 375 beans.
I don't know. Let me see how many beans I have.
If you're confused, I am also confused.
I have 143 beans.
How do you have so little beans?
What the fuck is going on? You know, I've never really figured out how Araki is able to like maneuver his big sword without like at least hitting the walls once or twice. Maybe he's just really good swordsman. Or maybe he has tips from Sephiroth.
Or maybe he has a long schlong
I feel
himself
like
and he knows how to maneuver it.
it's like those like prop swords that kind of just retract a little bit. That's how it was in Shinobu too. So when it like goes toward the wall, it just kind of shrinks a little bit.
I see. Hmm. We did see an example of this in Kizu where she just ran out and got her guts exploded.
Y'all.
Made me remember that and my stomach instantly turned. I don't want to eat anymore.
Good. Hopefully your
This
stomach
reminded me
turned
of
for the better.
episode Who's Still the Best Monogatari Character.
Just looking down on him.
You can't change. I like how these like cement pillars are mirroring like Japanese torii.
Hmm. Those are like the gateways and shrines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Fucking sociopath.
Oof, musical households.
Why did I expect him to start Kazuma doing the
Oh,
Kazuma hand
the
dance?
hand thing. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. And I couldn't even become that. He only became a half-assed vampire.
Oh, I thought about something on Seiso when he said that he would become a vampire.
I'm not surprised. Hmm.
Okay, I'm going to mute it.
Yeah. She is going to repeat this quite a lot.
Oh, I should just die. This is the fight that we saw at the beginning of Bake. That's disgusting.
He had it coming.
Is it really worth the last Araragi dying like this? Damn,
Big brain!
he put out well.
His sword makes no sense.
Like, even if he put his body back on, the sword is technically still, like, longer than him.
Yeah.
It's a
Coming
magical
off the top of
sword.
his head. Just imagine Anunnaki walking around with the hilt just poking out of the top of his head. Ah,
It's a magical sword. It's a prop, like you said.
yeah, it just retracts. It's okay.
Well, Araragi's just like, you know what? She's gonna cut me in half, so I'm just gonna cut myself in half first. Haha.
I mean, it's a sword. He didn't have to cut himself to shove it down there.
But which way did he shove it back in?
Just straight down from the top of his head.
Mm.
The hilt's on the top. You can see it.
Either that he deep throated it or that he took it up his ass.
He'd have to take it up hilt first. Why would you do that?
It feels
Maybe
better
he
that way.
just put it. Maybe he just put it on a chair, like, and just sat down on it.
God damn it, Aragi.
These sound effects. There is like standing there so sassy like.
They're successful, that's why.
His legs are proud of themselves.
Oh wait, maybe.
Let's go!
She did talk to him. He's a liar.
Yeah, you lied, Wes.
Just casual rip-off arm.
I was about to say he
Oh
probably
no!
just picked
Oh
the
no!
sword.
He grew his pants back. What?
Yeah, Shinobu does have that power to create clothing as well.
Oh yeah.
Ahoga.
They couldn't at least do it like Shura and have him like pull it out of her chest or something. Something cooler looking than just swallowing the damn thing.
I think, what was it? The adult Shinobu did stab herself in the chest to put it back in. Then we get an OST that's a more somber tone English than the usual Monogatari arcs, where they've
It's
actually
tone.
solved the problem somewhat.
It's the bamboo forest from Nariko.
And here's how we learn that the reason why Shinobu wears a helmet.
Why did she make him buy her a helmet when she could just make her own helmet?
Hey. We don't ask these kind of questions, alright?
She just wanted to abuse Mema's power.
She wanted him to buy her something for the
Yeah.
sentimental value.
It's racist.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
it really does.
If you guys don't know, we can't say any of these colors because they do trigger Kiwi.
And today was such a great day for ticks. Curse you, Hanekawa, on your other side. That's racist.
Oh no! I wonder if Kiwi's going to survive Neko Shiro.
How many episodes is Neko Shiro?
I believe either 4 or 6. They usually range in between that.
Engi. Dame. Dame da ne. Dame yo. Dame nano yo. Dame. Nope. Nope. Nope, nope. Don't even consider it.
Actually, I should probably look up what those flowers are.
Thank God he wasn't. Thank God. I had 0 left for a second.
He's abandoned us.
Yes.
It's okay, I'd abandon me too.
Hiccups. Never mind me, I'm just sticking here.
Yeah, and that's a problem about Hanekawa. Mm-hmm.
Damn it. I don't want Hanekawa to become a tick for me, Alaraki, bitch. Oh, he's a 3rd year in high school.
That means maybe we'll get college Koyomi at some point.
Maybe.
And neatly, we go right into the first episode of Bake.
Beautiful.
Man. We'll wait until after this outro, but I really wanted to discuss this with other people. Because, like, with Kane, obviously he agreed with Aragi's sentiment there, that he was really mad at Oshino for saying the things that he did, but I think Oshino kind of does have a point.
I have a lot of opinions on this one actually, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't like this one very much, but
I mean, I'm not surprised.
I do have a lot to say on it.
Yeah.
For me, I kind of agree with Oshino, but kind of don't, because what Oshino was doing was kind of victim blaming, which I don't agree with. But at the same time, he did have a point.
Weird mix between victim blaming and the victim themselves being kind of complacent in it, which is enabling. It is the problem I have with it as a whole is there's kind of no, like, they don't resolve it.
Yeah, it's not resolved.
The situation hasn't changed, which I get is because it's an ongoing thing, and we'll come back to it with Nekomonogatari and probably more Monogatari after that. But
and the whole revelation about Hanekawa basically just acting like this other self. Yeah, that was kind of like, yeah, I didn't really like that revelation. I don't like that. I like Hanekawa even less after I found that out, because I felt like, oh, maybe she has some redeeming features if that is not her acting like that. Because then the whole, like, I remember the whole episode where Hanekawa, I believe it was Nisa, at the end of Nisa, or was it end of Bake? I think I'm misremembering. I remember the whole situation with Hanekawa Kuro Hanekawa, right? And about her being mad at Araragi for not loving her back. And I remember just that, and like it's just that means that it's just Hanekawa acting like a child, really childishly, because a boy doesn't like her back, which makes me like her even less now that there's like this whole revelation happening around it.
I wouldn't say that Dark Hanekawa is just Hanekawa acting like a cat. I mean, in this instance, it was, because she came bursting in after reading a text from Aragi, because she thought that he was in danger, right? So she came to save him.
What I took away from it is it's a mix between the Meddlesome Cat's interference and just the aberration itself, but Hanekawa's still there. She doesn't ever go away.
Sometimes it's like she doesn't remember exactly what happens when she's in the other form, but it's still her. It's all her, obviously.
I have a hard time believing that she even doesn't like this. Nekomonogatari Kuro basically told me about Hanekawa. She's a high-functioning sociopath that can manipulate people, manipulate feelings, and manipulate situations. And she's a sociopath. She's a sociopath because she was abused by her family. Like that last part.
That's not true though.
That last part is not like important right now. I'll come back to that later. But
just concluded with it saying she does have feelings, it's just she can't express them, is what I thought it said here at the end.
And she expresses them in the worst possible ways. Like when she does express them, she expressed anger at her parents by sucking them to death.
I mean, she could have killed them.
Like, okay, for me, you have the situation, obviously, of her being abused by her family and mistreated by her family, which there's no redemption in the family in this scenario. They're 100% in the wrong. But Hanekawa isn't completely, not to blame the victim, because that's never really the answer, but I struggle with a lot of the same things that Hanekawa does, in that, like, when something goes wrong, you try and just handle it yourself, or if you're feeling uncomfortable, you just keep it to yourself. I have trouble asking for help when I need help, right? I resonate a lot with her in that. But in the end, if you're in a bad situation and if you're in a dangerous situation, you still have to try to get out of it. It's hard, and it can be really tough. But to be complacent in this situation means it's never going to improve.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So Hanekawa is stuck in this situation where she's basically reached her breaking point, but ultimately can't bring herself to leave it either, which is where the Meddlesome Cat kind of intervenes and is helping to try and pull her out of it, but it's not a good solution either.
And also, like, from what I've seen, she kind of also provokes the situation to escalate. Like her father hitting her hitting her so hard that she hit the wall, and then she telling him that he shouldn't hit girls, which is kind of like a provocation. That's just kind of this is what I mean. She's kind of, I guess, complacent in it, in that rather than confronting or challenging on it, she's trying to mitigate and downplay it, which ultimately
is infuriating the family more and making it worse, but like it's her kind of way of trying to cope with it.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Hanekawa.
We already know this, Kiwi. Tell us something we don't know.
Like, okay, so like Cerby said, I relate to Hanekawa on the idea of wanting to deal something by herself, but I'm not on the level as Hanekawa and Cerby are. If I feel like I can't do it, like I really can't do it myself, I'll ask for help reluctantly, but I'll ask for help, and but I'll still try to learn from it and deal with it myself. I'm not like that bad like Cerby and Hanekawa are. I mean, you guys already know that how bad my social anxiety is. So like asking for help in something is basically asking for confrontation because I have to explain myself and stuff. So it's hard, but like I still ask for help, right? Maybe because I relate to her as much as I do, I really, really dislike her. I mean,
that's
said
part of
that
it
like
for me
1,000
too.
times.
It's like her character currently is a reflection of a lot of just the worst traits that I can like resonate with no good, I guess, resolve or dealing with them. It's just continually highlighting the worst parts of it.
Yeah, like if I get pushed, I'm not like, oh, that hurt, I'm going to tell the teacher. I'll be like, oh, that hurt, please don't do it again, and then walk off without telling anyone. Like how Hanekawa does, how Hanekawa deals with it, which is what I really dislike about myself. I really dislike that about Hanekawa as well.
But this is where
It
it's like,
does.
I feel like I see what Neko Shiro is trying to set up for later parts in the story, I'm sure. At least I'm really hoping. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt that it will come back and resolve this.
Yeah.
But as just the piece by itself, as just Neko Shiro, it's kind of one big ball of just
negativity,
problematic with no resolution.
Yeah, and
it hurts to see because as you said, anybody can find some quality within Dark Hanekawa to be relatable, and it's not meant for us to like what's happening, to like the character, and to enjoy the resolution. It's just there to present. This sucks.
It's literally just highlighting the problem and trying really hard to like show the problem. But I think, and this is I guess going to be my critique on this as a way of presenting it, is even if it's not meant to be the main resolution of the problem, there should be some growth. There should be some conclusion, even if it's small, some sort of
because like
way to address it rather than just leaving it off as it is and knowing that it's still there.
Because the message that one can get from Neko Kuro is basically, if you're feeling extremely stressed, just suppress it until someone comes to kind of suppress it further with you, which is kind of what I don't like. They basically suppressed her medicine cat problem.
Message was,
or is that just me my misunderstanding?
The message was wait until some boy cuts you in half with a sword, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That was,
thank you.
I believe, Oshino's second warning, was that with how things are, there is no way to resolve this. There needs to be something more. And I know the answer to it, but I'm not going to say it. Oshino always says it, but I mean...
This pretty much did what I assumed it would. I think I even said it in a previous episode, but you had Koyomi have his verbal confrontation with her. We've kind of settled the problem for the moment, but nothing's really changed, and then they'll come back and deal with it more later, like at the end of Bake and other things, but the problem still persists. I
mean, even at the end of Bake, that wasn't a resolution, that was still a temporary fix.
Yeah, all they do is keep it's okay, Hanekawa, just keep it down a little longer.
Yeah, just sweep it under the rug and then just, please wait until this thing that's called Neko Shiro. Maybe that'll solve this problem. I don't know. That's just what the author said.
But I really, really hope it does.
So the thing that I'm wondering about is how, if Zero keeps on hyping it up and telling me that I'll probably like Hanekawa by the end of Neko Shiro, and I want to know how they'll do that. Because Hanekawa currently, for me, is on the lowest fucking scale of the characters from the Monogatari series. Like, that's how much I dislike Hanekawa. I'm not at the point where I would be like, oh, it's Hanekawa time during the like reactions. Like, I would not react that way, but I would kind of like furrow my eyebrows or like make an expression whenever I would see Hanekawa. Like after Neko Kuro. Like, that's my honest opinion. I am a really not big fan of Hanekawa. I really dislike Hanekawa. If I didn't say that already, like multiple times. So if Neko Shiro will be able to like put Hanekawa on like in my top 5 characters from Monogatari, I will fucking give it a Nobel Prize. I will praise it on Twitter and I will put it on my favorite animes of all time. Because there's no way that a simple season of 6 episodes would be able to fix my opinion of Hanekawa.
I don't think I have that strong of an opinion on Hanekawa.
I am sorry. I am a very opinionated person.
I know.
We know this. Tell us something that we don't know, Kiwi. My intention wasn't to hype up Neko Shiro, but I do feel like Neko Shiro is where a lot of reactors kind of like change their opinions about Hanekawa's character.
Well, I feel like it has to, just by the way that they're structuring the series. Because if Neko Shiro doesn't resolve her character, then it's just kind of just one big negative mess.
Yeah, like leaving it further than Neko Shiro, I feel is just already just a lost cause. It's way too late to resolve this situation.
Well, this is what I said just in my kind of critique of writing progression, I guess. If you're going to have an arc, no matter how long it is, there should be some progression or some resolve, even if it's just a small piece of an overall problem. Yeah. Which I just don't feel in this. Which maybe I'm missing it, but I don't consider just pushing it aside for later as any sort of resolution. Yeah,
I actually agree with this. There isn't really any like growth from Hanekawa in particular that we can see very clearly in this arc. Like even at the end of Bake, it's still kind of the same thing. So we're kind of waiting on that. And yes, continue, Kiwi.
So I personally think that the growth wasn't in Hanekawa, because the growth in Hanekawa should happen later through Nise, through Shiro, Neko Shiro, and so on, right? I think that the growth was more so on Araragi.
I don't think he really changed at all either, though. He kind of fell into the same traps he always does.
He didn't change much. He did change a little, much.
But not really. Here at the end, he kind of did.
But he kind of...
Sorry, continue, Kiwi.
It's fine. You can say what you want to say, Cerby.
You can continue. I'll wait.
But I think it's mostly like what we see through Bake and everything, where he kind of... I mean, he has always been that kind of character that has a resolution for something else, but more so like in this one we saw him be able to let go of something else. Yes, that's totally what I wanted to say, and I totally didn't forget what I wanted to say.
I believe Cerby can relate to that.
That is my life.
It felt more so kind of like, how can I explain this thought that I have that I can't explain in English speaking words?
All right, don't worry about it, Kiwi. Take a break, think carefully, and it's your turn, Cerby. Go.
I'm not getting enough air in my blood to be able to think radically right now. I'm sorry.
I think so. Araragi's character has high levels of both sympathy and empathy, which, for me personally, I'm a very empathetic person. I have zero sympathy. So I will feel someone's pain with them, and I will like emotionally connect and struggle through something with someone, but I'll never be someone to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you." Like, I don't have that feeling. But Araragi very much has both sides. So you can see moments like of him going to her house and just feeling that kind of emotion that Hanekawa is keeping bottled inside herself. And then you have moments like this conclusion here where he's feeling all this sympathy and he really wants to help and try and resolve something for her that's really problematic, and that he kind of can't. but he wants to. Ultimately, it kind of comes down to the same thing that Araragi always deals with he feels this desire to help, even at the cost of himself. And we see it. He tried to kill himself for her. He tried.
Yeah. That was his intention all along. It was actually kind of selfish on his part.
I mean, if we compare it, I'm sorry that I'm breaking you up. It's a payback for earlier.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if we compare him to like End of Nise when not End of Nise, End of Bake, when he learns that he shouldn't sacrifice himself because he has Tenjiro-Gohara, and we compare Araragi now, we can see that he has some growth. Yes,
kind of. I think this is what I feel conflicted on Araragi's growth, because I think part of what we're supposed to see is that he's learning that his life does matter. At least that's what Shinobu's trying to show him. But we see it in Bake and in the ones to follow that he doesn't really learn that lesson until Senjukuhara shows up. Yeah. It's like, I feel like the problem with this being chronologically out of order is we're seeing basically Koyomi go back to before he's resolved all these problems. Yeah. And it's irritating to see him make these mistakes when we've already seen him.
Well, yeah, to us it feels like he should already know how to handle this, but because we're watching it out of order, this is how it's presented to us. Yeah.
Because I do like things when it's non-linear, but just kind of when you take something like that with an already kind of problematic storyline with no resolution, it just ends up being this kind of overwhelming, just annoying bubble for me.
Yeah,
I can understand that.
Araragi does have small improvements in this, but when we compare it to what happens later, it just feels annoying.
Cerby, you helped me found the word that I wanted to describe. Right?
Okay.
As the episode progresses, Araragi becomes less annoying. Thank you. That is the character growth that I was talking about.
I think that's my main opinions on this, though.
Well, for me, I feel like the growth that we can see in Araragi between Kizu to Neko Kuro here. At the end of Neko Kuro here, he kind of comes to terms with like his own emotion and how he feels. And he accepts that he can't really do much for her, but he can just greet her at school and smile and talk with her. And that's what he can do for her. I think that's something that Kiwi was saying last episode.
So that when she's ready to open up, he'll be there for her.
Yeah, that's what I wanted from the very beginning.
I think the problem is we're just stuck in the waiting game, waiting for that moment to happen where Hanekawa finally does open up, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad that Araragi finally came to a correct conclusion instead of breaking into her house and seeing her family situation and putting his nose where it isn't its place. Yeah.
Araragi is a flawed character as much as Hanekawa is. He has much to learn. And while he's trying to solve other people's problems, he's also kind of learning about himself and how to solve his own problems and how to grow as a person. And that is one aspect that I really enjoy.
I don't like that's Araragi.
Koyomi in each iteration we see him in through each of these different arcs, we see some change, some growth, even if it's small, because we know the overall problem with what he's trying to solve in himself, even if he doesn't realize it. But we see steps, right? That's what I mean when you're watching something with multiple arcs like this. Even if it's not like a full resolution, you should see progression, which we do see with Araragi.
We just don't see it with Hanekawa.
Thank God. That was good with Araragi, and thank God I have a reason to hate Hanekawa.
I don't hate Hanekawa. I just find her annoying.
Usually in the harem shows, the milfy characters like Hanekawa don't usually have like any backstory to them. They're just born the way that they are, but
they're just born with big tits. That's their backstory.
That's their personality.
I see.
You know, that's the whole plot of High School DxD. High School DxD's personality, and yes, I watched it.
If I know you did. I still question why, but you did.
Tell us something we don't know, Kiwi.
I dislike Hanekawa.
Oh, damn. Whoa. Who could have known?
A revelation, really.
I believe here at the end, where Shinobu's talking, Aragi actually doesn't remember that because he's kind of like half in and
I
half out of
figured he can't.
consciousness.
Yeah. Otherwise, he just straight up lied to us.
Yeah. Of course, the storytelling is from Aragi's perspective, so if he says something, he believes that that's how it was, but that doesn't mean that's how it went down.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so when she's in her loli form, he doesn't want to look at her chest, so she brings out the sword, so he imagines her deep throating the sword down and then biting into the fox lady. Yes.
What?
When did the fox come in? What?
Yeah.
What fox cat?
So many problems with the story.
Were we watching the same show? Final thing from me, I suppose, is that I do appreciate the cinematography this last episode. Especially here, you can see it clearly. Yeah. Actually, one thing that Cerby mentioned that I never really thought of was how the red pillars represented like the... what do you call them? The gates?
The Japanese torii, yeah. They're gates in front of Shinto shrines that are meant to be kind of the gateway between basically normal mundane society and like holy spiritual land.
I suppose that does make sense because these red pillars are like what's kind of separating Araragi with Hanekawa here in this one particular scene. They use them quite a lot in certain angles to divide them. Yeah, I never really thought of it as that. I just thought, oh, red. This is a very dangerous situation. Yes, big brain.
There's a lot of cinematography shots, not cinema. Yeah, you see they even depict her as like holy here.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of shots of separation and just like showing just how far apart that these characters are from each other.
Even at the end, during the resolution, they're just not in the same space. They haven't come to any sort of solution to the problem, and they just don't understand each other.
There is no resolution yet.
Yeah. Here in this scene where Aragi and Oshino are talking about how like holy Hanekawa is, to the point where it's creepy. They translate it as cringy, but I mean,
it's not a correct translation, but yeah.
it doesn't really feel human in the way that she reacts, which is what
basically
Aragi
what I said in Kizu, right?
Yeah, like she's just, there's something off about her. She gives you a really bad feeling, and like being with her, living with her, and even if I lived with Hanekawa per se, I would feel like a shitty person because Hanekawa is just too good of a person, right? And that's what Oshino is. I think what Oshino is kind of saying is that like, yeah, she just kind of accentuates the qualities, the bad qualities of the parents, and they just see that in themselves, and it just infuriates them more because she just wants to be this perfect being, right? She's living a really sad and incredibly misfortunate life, but she's still forcing herself to be her version of normal. That's kind of messed up, I think. Like, if you were in that kind of situation, I think it would be fine to be sad about it, to like lash out and to ask for help, but she doesn't do that because she's the holy maiden. She's an angel descending from heaven who's perfecting literally everything, or at least
which is what I like when I say it's like it's not to blame the victim because she is the victim of an abusive family in this scenario.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't just be complacent in it. You have to try and get help and try and get out of there. Otherwise, it's going to continue, right? There's nothing to change that.
Back to what Oshino always says.
For someone to save you, because it won't happen unless you look and reach out.
Only you
actually want to
can save yourself.
I actually want to know why Kian actually got mad at Oshino. Because Oshino
comes off as very victim blaming, and that's how it feels when he's presenting it.
It comes off as that. And you could say that, it is somewhat that.
It is a little. It's partially him showing the rationale of the family, which is correct. Which is kind of like even like in Penguin Drum, where you're shown the rationale of like the terrorist, right? They're doing something bad that's unforgivable, right? But you're seeing how they got to the place that they got to, which there's nothing wrong in showing that. In fact, it kind of grounds a character in a situation.
Yes.
It's kind of just the way it's framed that comes off as very victim blamey, which just feels bad.
But I mean, Oshino gives it to you straight. He only says facts about the situation.
Oh yeah. That's why I don't necessarily have a problem with what he says. It just it doesn't feel good to listen to, which none of this does.
That's true. I mean, Penguin Drum was the same way. If you bring that example up, there is no good, there is no evil. There's just circumstances that people are put into.
I don't have a problem with the things that Oshino says. I mean, there's a problem in what it is, just the situation. But
I think the better way to say it, there is a problem in the tone that he said it in, but not the problem what he said.
I just think
that's just the way Oshino speaks.
Depending on how you view it, it'll feel like you have to stop and actually like adjust to like take in what he's actually saying. And sometimes if someone just is watching it emotionally, you're not going to gather that part of it, which is the same reason like Penguin Drum had backlash when it came out. People like, how dare you rationalize this horrific event,
I know, right? And that's understandable, of course. And in this situation, if Hanekawa is a character
you never want to humanize horrible actions, right? People get mad at that, but in the end, it's still done by people.
Humans.
There is a rationale and a way that people got to where they're at. And it's just interesting psychology to see it laid out, right?
Yeah. Because if you're
even if it doesn't
emotionally
justify the situation,
like invested in Hanekawa, like she's like one of your favorite characters, and then Oshino comes in to say this, then you're gonna react like Araragi does, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you don't really step out of that situation and look at it from a third person perspective. You're just in there with Araragi and feeling what he feels. So yeah, I understand why and a few other reactors get mad at that, but then later on when they like look back on it, then they'll see that this is what Oshino was trying to say. And with all the points that Cerby made,
he's trying to kind of snap Araragi out of it, which obviously doesn't work. But
it is Araragi. Not much you can do there. He has to realize it himself in the end after going through it.
Yeah.
I'll go and watch some reactions to this episode, maybe. But I won't read the comments.
I'm not going to. I just would get annoyed.
That was a great discussion. That was a great episode.
Yes.
Probably not going to be one of your favorite parts of Monogatari. However,
no.
I can assure you that, in my opinion, I think Monogatari really starts to kick off in second season. And the beginning of second season is Neko Shiro, which we will be watching in the next episode. So,
I can't wait. I'm excited.
If you enjoyed the discussion, remember to like, subscribe, specifically to this video, not to our channel. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye
bye.
Bye bye, pussies.
Oh no!
Don't insult them. What are you doing?
I'm not insulting anyone. It wasn't me. It was Hanekawa speaking from inside. Goodbye.
Bye bye.